Hello students. So today's topic in corporate crime is like doctors, advocates, and education institute people who are in very big business, are directors of that. So these are people who have the powers and they have the ways of creating white collar crime. So now let's discuss the first profession, that is the medical profession. In the medical profession, white collar crimes are most commonly committed by people uh, in and they usually do crimes like giving false medical certificates, helping illegal abortions, secret service to dacoits by giving expert opinion leading to their acquittal, selling sample drugs, medicine to patients or chemists. So, the persons employed in essential services of the government or other undertakings are often confronted with the problem of getting leave due to shortage of staff. So, to have that leave, they uh, they get medical certificates with false sickness and they produce it to their department to justify why they were absent from their duty. In return, they pay a certain amount to the medical staff. This kind of practice, though a white collar crime, has proved a boon and a workable alternative to employees who have difficulty in obtaining leave from the employers. Now, fake and misleading advertisements is another area in which white collar crimes are operative. They make illegal and misleading claims of medical cure through advertisements in newspapers, in magazines, in radio, in television, thus adding to human misery. Many patients' patent medicines are not only worthless but they are also harmful. So, similar advertisements for cosmetics and adulterated foods are also widespread in practice, which are very injurious to the health of the public. And these persons may not violate the law, but in spirit, but they commit crimes which are antisocial and which are injurious to the public health. The next type of profession is engineering. So in engineering profession, underhand dealing with contractors and suppliers, like passing of substandard works. So usually these engineers pass works that are not up to mark, that are not fulfilling the standardization that is required for passing of the work, passing of the tender, but still they do that. And materials and maintenance of bogus records of work charged labor are some of the common examples that are conducted by the engineers and engineers. Uh, then scandals of this kind are reported in newspapers and magazines almost every day. Construction of building, roads, canals, dams, and bridges are done with the substandard materials. So the materials that are used in these kind of constructions are not up to mark. They are they are they have poor quality, and still they sanction use of such kind of material, which leads them to get involved and to commit white collar crime. And not only endangers and this not only endangers the public safety, but it also results in a huge loss to the public exchequer. They resort to frequent strikes to press their demands and use tactics in collusion with the ministerial staff of the courts. And because of these common practices, they are quite often these practices are practiced by legal practitioners, and because of this, they do not have a good uh, image in front of the society, in front of the public. Though there is a definite code of conduct that is given to the legal profession, but it is only an ornamental document. And this does not, however, mean that all lawyers are corrupt and unethical, but quite a large number of them are most sincere and honest in their profession, commanding great respect from all sections of the society. But still, the lawyers who are not following this code of conduct are also there in the same profession, in the legal profession. Perhaps it is because of the peculiar nature of this profession that the lawyers and the advocates have to resort to these tactics in order to survive in this kind of profession, which is becoming more and more competitive with the passage of time. Next kind of profession is educational institutions. So another field where white collar crimes operate a lot is with the private educational institutions that are in this country. The governing bodies of these institutions manage to secure large sums by way of government grants or financial aid by submitting fake details about their institution and fictitious detail about their institution, and by submitting this kind of details they get a lot of sums from the government, and the teachers and the other staffs that are working in these institutions, they receive a meager salary, far less than what they actually signed for, thus allowing a big margin for the management to grab that amount in an illegal manner. The victimized teachers can hardly afford to complain about this exploitation to high ups because of the fear of being thrown out of the job, and they are therefore compelled to compromise with the situation. Although the government has introduced scheme of treasury payments for teachers of private institutions, but the problem still persists one form or the other. Apart from the fake and bogus enrollments of students who are residing far away from the place of location of these institutions is yet another source of illegal earning for them. They charge huge amounts by way of donations or capitation fees from such needy students. Even rackets are operated in these institutions from procuring students to appear in different examinations on the basis of manipulated eligibility certificates or domicile certificates. Domicile here means the where you where you are domiciled, where you are born. So in return of huge sums, so they create certificates of eligibility, domicile, by taking money. These dishonest and practices unscrupulous practices have damaged the standard of education in India to such an extent that it is causing a very irreparable loss to the younger generation. So this irreparable loss is a loss uh, which cannot be amended. It will be very difficult to amend this kind of a loss. It will be very difficult to if this kind of a loss is done to this younger generation, then they cannot recover the loss that they have gone through. It will not be replaced, so that means the irreparable loss. More often than not, these privately managed educational institutions, also imparting some professional education, enjoy the patronage of some influential politicians. So there are very influential politicians who are there for these educational institutions, and many of them are even owned by them. Many such institutions are virtually non-existent and are functioning as a commercial shops that are enabling the students to get degrees on payment of huge sums, uh, and it is violative to the government rules, regulation, and norms. The magnitude of this white collar criminality has adversely affected the standard of the education in most of the states, and therefore the problem needs to be tackled through a stringent statutory measures. Thank you.